Yes, they are. I mean, the main danger is really that it's very hard to see how you ever escape from them, especially now we have more than 10 years of that low interest rate environment, and so much of our business and society framed around that. Well, it's not so much. It's good for much of the private sector as well. What it's not good for is people who have saved for retirement, or most of all, for people who might save for retirement, and particularly in countries like Britain or the United States, which rely on private savings in large part to fund retirement. That's a very serious problem. There are so many ways in which our kids and grandchildren are going to struggle to enjoy the things that we've taken for granted in our lifetimes. There's something in that, but it's of course more complicated. There's some senses in which the American century is over, particularly the degree of American hegemony in both the business and financial world is going to be eroded. I think there's a model of Anglo-Saxon financial capitalism that was a 20th century story that doesn't have the same relevance to the 21st. But that the US has this amazing innovative capacity which keeps reproducing itself. I can't see anything that's going to change that in the short term. If he turns out to be a 4-year bad dream, which I think must be the most likely outcome, then it's not that serious a problem. But it's a symptom of an more serious underlying problem, which is of which Brexit is part, Trump is part, and so on, of a breakdown of an established political order in Western democracies. And that, I think, is something that will stay even after Donald Trump is gone, will stay even after Brexit has been resolved, although I can't imagine when that is going to happen. Yeah, it's really the collapse. Well, on the one hand, the collapse of the old social democratic parties, which as socialism itself collapsed in the East, lost a lot of their appeal and rationale. And at the same time, the old right parties of Europe and the United States, which were kind of coalitions of people who were threatened by this leftist coalition, that too lost its rationale, so that you had liberal individualists, rich people, traditionalists who valued conventional morality, church, and so on. People who didn't have very much in common with each other, except that they were threatened by what the left offered. And they're now learning they don't have very much in common with each other. Yes, it will, but how much and in what ways depends on questions both of what trading arrangements we end up with, and indeed how the world trading order develops. And that's again more in question now than it has been over the last 20 or 30 years. That's ridiculously hard, but I think people tend to be more apocalyptic and exaggerated about the impact of long-term changes. I don't think the next 10 or 20 years will be so different from the last 10 or 20 years in that way. I'm not sure if that's hopeful or not, but it's what I feel, that I don't think there are trends that are complete discontinuities in the world economy. Let's put it like that.